morning. Today is Tuesday, February 9th. For lunch today, there's macaroni and cheese with steamed broccoli and whole grain dinner roll, or crispy chicken wrap, or cheeseburger on a bun, or mini corn dogs. And so you have a heads up, today we will be having indoor recess. The temperature outside during the lunch and recess period is going to be well below zero with wind chill, and so we're just keeping it inside today. Today in grades 4 and 5, it's a C day. In grades 6 through 8, it's an A day. And today, we've got 2 birthdays. Happy birthday to Aubriella Conley in the 4th grade and to Noah Allison in the 6th grade. Hope you have a great day. Hey everybody. So last week, as part of Black History Month, I introduced you to 2 stories. One of them, Wendell Scott, the first African-American inducted into the NASCAR Hall of Fame, and the second, Teresa Burrows, somebody who had to go through a lot of hoops to be able to get the right to vote in Alabama. Now, both of them experienced racism. Now, the thing about racism, or telling people that they don't belong or that they're not good enough based on their race, can take a lot of different forms than what we just saw with them. But let's use their example to sort of understand some of the concepts in play here. So you've probably heard the term segregation before. That's what happens when you keep one group separate from another group, like you see in these circles. But that isn't really what was happening with either Wendell Scott or Teresa Burrows. Wendell Scott was able to race on the same racetrack as his competitors, and Teresa Scott voted in the same election. What happened instead was integration, where Wendell and Teresa were allowed to participate in the same events, but there was a barrier around them. There was things that kept them from doing and having the same privileges as everybody else. In Wendell's case, one way that barrier kept up was through death threats and people making him try and back down. In Teresa's case, that barrier was kept up by people like the election supervisor who made her guess about jelly beans or do other meaningless hoops. Neither Wendell or Teresa were able to be fully included, like you see in the circle picture on the right, because people kept putting those barriers up that told them that they didn't belong. Now, racism puts up those barriers. It draws those circles. It tells people you belong here and not here because of your race. Now, it's hard for us to understand how people can have so much hate to put up those circles we saw in the stories of Wendell Scott and Teresa Burrows. How much hate does it take to make a death threat? How much hate does it take to be able to make people guess how many jelly beans there are as a hoop so that someone can't do something they're entitled to? But the thing about it is that sometimes the language we use can create those hoops, can create those barriers for people, even if we don't have that hate in our hearts. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up is that there's been some language used here recently at AMS that has these same problematic racist issues in play. Let me give an example. So I was in a hallway recently, and there were 2 people outside. The door was locked. They're waiting to get in. Somebody yells, "Hey, there's a Mexican at the door." Now, problem. Why say Mexican? Why don't you say there's a person at the door or open the door? By focusing out on somebody's Mexicanness, you're drawing a circle around him. You're saying, hey, here's where we're at. The default is non-Mexican, so I'm going to poke out somebody who is Mexican. It might seem like a little thing that I'm talking about there, but that's a circle. That's a way of having someone feel that they don't belong. If you're using the word Mexican to have someone set apart or tell them they don't belong and aren't putting respect on that name, that language is racist. You might not feel that that hate is in your heart, but by joking about it, you're walking an awfully fine line that you don't want to be. So today's goal, and it's a big one, is that we need to work better towards inclusion. That means that we need to let people have a place wherever they're at, whatever their background, here at AMS. Race, gender, gender identity, you name it, we belong here. And so we can't get here unless we stop drawing those circles that tell people that you belong here and you don't. A big part of that is you need to not tell any jokes or even laugh at any jokes that put anything other than respect on someone's racial background or identity. We need to help each other. We need to be better. We need to do better. All right. Take care.